Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Hutchinson City Council meeting for June 23rd, 2026. We'll call the meeting to order. We'll approve the council agenda. Any agenda additions or corrections?
Nothing extra tonight.
I'd make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Chad, second by Tim to approve the agenda as presented. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We'll say nay. Motion carries. Invocation. All right, we'll just have a moment of silence, please. Next is Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Recognition of gifts, donations, and community service to the city. Does anybody have anything tonight?
No.
Just want to recognize the JCs for having a successful water carnival again. We had, I think, one night of rain. Maybe they should call it something else besides water carnival. All right.
They had great weather for the weekend.
Yeah, just one night, I think, wasn't it?
Monday.
Yeah.
Mayor, I should bring up that just because it's often in the library minutes or in the library board, the American Legion Auxiliary here in town often donates books in memory or funds in memory of people who, veterans or veteran spouses who have been lost in the community. So they don't get the acknowledgement for that, and they do that a lot in the community. So thanks to them.
All right, anything else? All right, public comment, just please come forward, state your name and address for the record. This would be the time if you want to adjust the council.
Can I just ask what the moment of silence was for, please?
That's for, we usually have an invocation. We have one of the clergymen from the town come and
Please come up and lead the Lord's Prayer once.
you could if you want to.
Okay, do we have any Christians here? No? Nobody wants the Lord's Prayer? Okay, because I noticed they didn't say the Lord's Prayer like that.
All right.
Thank you very much, Max.
Yeah.
Mayor.
All right, we have, moving on, we have the approval of minutes. We have the regular meeting minutes of June 9th, 2026.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Pat, second by Chad to approve the regular meeting minutes as presented. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Will say nay. Motion carries. Consent agenda. This will be done with one motion unless somebody pulls something off for discussion. A is appointment of Julie Johansson to the Pioneer Land Library Board. B is consideration for approval of resolution number 16045, resolution appointing intern city engineer. C is consideration for approval of resolution number 16046, approval of disposal of surplus street department property. D is consideration for approval of resolution number 16047, resolution adopting finding of facts and reason for approval of a conditional use permit for a truck terminal in I-1 zoning district located at 1060 and 1064 Adams Street Southeast with favorable planning commission recommendation. E is consideration for approval of resolution number 16048, resolution approving of donations of surplus fire department equipment. F is consideration for approval of River Song Music Festival. That's July 9th through the 11th, 2026 in Masonic West River Park. G is consideration for approval of Minnesota Pottery Festival, July 24th through the 26th, 2026 in Masonic West River Park. H is consideration for approval of issuing a temporary liquor license to the Minnesota Pottery Festival on July 25th and 26th, 2026. And I is claims appropriation and contract payments, Register A. Is there anything anybody wants pulled off?
Motion to approve consent agenda 1.
Second.
Motion by Pat, second by Dave to approve as presented. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Say nay. Motion carries. Approval of consent agenda 2, claims appropriation contract payments, Register B. Chad has a check on there for his business, so he will be abstaining from the vote.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Pat, second by Dave to approve with Chad abstaining. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Will say nay. Motion carries. We do not have a public hearing. Under communications request and petition, we have update from the River Song Music Festival Committee.
Have you been up to anything lately, Leah?
Yeah, hardly anything. Yeah, you'll have to excuse my hoarse voice. I'm Leah Camrath. I live at 549 Main Street South, and I'm the Community Outreach Coordinator for the River Song Music Festival, here representing our 2026 River Song Board tonight. City Council members, I'm here to provide you with updated information regarding our upcoming River Song Music Festival, scheduled for July 10th and 11th. Camping reservations for our festival are currently full, and we have 2 additional campsites reserved in the overflow camping area. Security arrangements are being coordinated by Officer Ben Erlinson and will include both event security and overnight security throughout our festival. Festival preparations will begin on the evening of Wednesday, June 8th with equipment unloading. Full event setup will take place Thursday, June 10th in the morning and continue throughout the day on Thursday, June 9th and Friday, June 10th. Perimeter fencing will be installed beginning the morning of Thursday, June 9th. Signage will be posted to inform the general public of the festival activities and any restricted areas. Portable restrooms and garbage management services and site lighting will all be installed Thursday, June 9th to ensure the grounds are prepared for attendees and vendors. Food truck vendors are scheduled to arrive after noon on Friday, June 10th. The 2026 River Song Festival will include the bands St. George's Folly, Johnny Clueless, Boss Mama and the Jabberhooch, Fabulous Armadillos, Tina and the B-Sides, Josh Cleveland, Chicago Farmer and the Field Notes, A Piano in Every Home, and Foxglove. We appreciate the city's support for River Song Music Festival, and we look forward to another successful event. Please let us know if there's any additional information that's needed from us. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Say, Leah, is for tickets, can you tell them how to get tickets for the music festival? Yes, please. Are they online?
Yes, you can
Okay.
purchase tickets from our website, riversongfestival.org.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, unfinished business, we have second reading and adoption of the summary for publication of ordinance number 26-877, ordinance amending chapter 53 of the city code, and that's for sewers. Good evening, Mike.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. And per the last meeting, I don't think we've had any questions or follow-up since, so we'd be looking for your approval after tonight. Nothing else to add otherwise.
Fascinating reading, Mike.
As you said, good bedtime reading, so yes.
Real page
No,
here.
nobody ever worries about that until it don't work.
Yeah.
Correct.
That's exactly it. As my wife said the other night, what are you reading about? I said, I don't want to tell you.
Yeah.
I'd make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Is that you, Pat? Yeah. Motion by Chad, second by Pat to approve. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Under new business, the 2026 Safe Routes to School Plan.
Mr. Mayor and Council, this is better reading than the ordinance,
More pictures.
information. It's up more pictures, yes, and, we're at a good point with it. We're looking for your approval tonight, but, we'd like to provide a little bit of an overview of it. It's been an effort led by Blake Bernard, who will be presenting tonight, and he is with the Mid-Minnesota Development Commission. We've been working on it for about the last 18 months, and this is an update to the 2015 plan, which is on our website, has guided a number of projects, and this will be a good complement document, not only to serve as an update for projects, but a good complement to the comprehensive safety plan that we've recently been approved for funding for, and that we'll be working on here for the next year and a half. So the two of them really should guide us for the next few years. So I'm going to turn it over to Blake, who's going to take about 10 minutes to provide an overview, and then certainly open it up to any questions you might have, and then we'll be looking for approval. So. And that clicker's working, so.
Thanks. All right, yeah, so as he said, my name is Blake Bernard. I'm a transportation planner with Mid-Minnesota Development Commission. And the purpose of a Safe Routes to School plan is to provide a roadmap for making it safer and more practical for students to walk and bike to school. So it provides an overview of how students get to school, identifying barriers, and recommending ways to improve safety. It also serves as an important tool to pursue grant funding. In fact, a lot of grant applications will ask the specific question: do you have a Safe Routes to School plan associated with this project, and does it have formal adoption by a city council? So important plan. So Hutchinson, as Mike said, Hutchinson adopted a Safe Routes to School plan back in 2015. But back then we had a very different campus layout with, and so we underwent the renovation at Park Elementary and at the high school, as well as construction of Tiger Elementary. And so for these reasons, we thought it would be a good time to come up with a new plan for Safe Routes to School in Hutchinson. So in March of last year, we formed a committee to guide and update the plan. And the committee included representatives from the school district, from the city, from Parks and Rec, and also law enforcement. And we met several times over the course of a year to review the layouts of the schools and surrounding areas and discuss concerns at each campus, sharing observations about how students travel to and from school. One important change with our update was the last one just included grades K through 8, so we decided to add the high school just so the entire district would be considered in the plan. During this time, we conducted site visits, observing arrival and dismissal times for each of the 5 campuses to observe traffic patterns and student movements firsthand. While many of the renovations had been thoughtfully designed and were working well, at the same time, it can be kind of difficult to tell how a site will function until students actually begin using it. And it's useful to see how students were already finding their own routes to school. For example, looking at aerial imagery, we noticed a well-worn path cutting through a field towards the schools, which we took to be evidence that a fair amount of foot traffic was coming through there and through, from the adjacent neighborhood. And so after some review, we included in the plan a recommendation to build a formal trail there. And in fact, earlier this year, we applied for and won a grant to build this trail. So it's just kind of a good example of how a plan can move from identifying a need to securing funding for a solution. A key part of our plan also included feedback from parents. So last fall, we distributed a survey to the parents of students at each of the 5 campuses, and we had pretty good participation with 342 parent responses representing a broad mix of grade levels. And then most students currently get to school by bus or family vehicle, with only a small percentage walking or biking. And we saw similar trips or results for the trip home. And Distance appears to be a major factor, of course. Nearly 65% of students live more than 1 mile from school, and over a third live more than 2 miles away. When parents were asked what influences their decision to allow their child to walk or bike to school, the top concerns were intersection and crossing safety. And these findings help shape our recommendations, which focus heavily on improving crossing safety and traffic conditions. And ultimately, based on the data we collected, the committee identified 9 recommendations. Several focus on improving crossing safety at key intersections and spots near campuses where there were concerns about traffic speed and vehicle conflicts. And others address gaps in the pedestrian and bicycle network, sidewalks and trails, as well as ADA accessible connections. These improvements would help create more direct and continuous routes between neighborhoods and the schools. And the plan also includes recommendations aimed at reducing conflicts between vehicles and pedestrians and bicyclists during arrival and dismissal periods, especially around the middle school and the high school. These are all kind of laid out in much more detail and prioritized within the plan on page 18. And then in addition to infrastructure improvements, the plan also emphasizes continued education, encouragement, and safety programs that help students and families develop safe walking and biking habits, while fostering a culture of active transportation. Taken together, these 9 recommendations provide a roadmap for improving safety, expanding transportation options, and supporting students whether they walk, bike, bus, or arrive by car. And then before I finish, I just wanted to thank the committee members who helped shape this plan, as well as the parents who took the time to complete the survey. This plan is the result of careful evaluation, community input, and collaboration among a range of stakeholders. While not every recommendation will happen right away, it gives Hutchinson a clear framework for prioritizing improvements, pursuing grant funding, and continuing to make our schools safer over time. Thank you, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Say, Blake, on Park Elementary, the Lynn Road curve safety improvements.
Yes.
But is there any plans for that, or is there some suggestions on to fix it, or?
If you look in our plan, it kind of goes into a little bit more detail about what we're referring to there is just installing actually a sidewalk on the west side of Lynn Road there. Because right now there's no sidewalk. And so there's a sidewalk that kind of goes up Washington and then just kind of ends there.
It's that retaining wall, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's the retaining wall, exactly. Yeah. So it's just kind of just an improvement that we're recommending because there's a lot of neighborhood there to the west.
That's a tough crossing. That'd be a high priority, high cost one, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And that's, kind of a sharp curve. A lot of people are going kind of quick through there. Yeah. So, yeah.
And a question on cost, because you put low, high, medium. I didn't see anywhere in the description of kind of where those fell. I mean, what do we consider low versus high?
We didn't do any like formal estimates or anything, and so they're very general cost estimates. I would say just kind of general ballpark, just to kind of help us prioritize it. So, just kind of a big picture view is what the cost is at this point. This is kind of first step, I would say.
And one of the high priorities was the traffic control at the entrance of Tiger Elementary. And last year, I think we put the no turn in.
Yes.
At that point.
Yes.
And did that change anything that you've seen?
Tom.
The chief could probably answer it better because certainly has some.
Well, that would be.
Yeah.
Please, thanks.
I think the chief could probably represent it better.
It helps if people actually use the sign.
Yeah.
I think currently the police officer in the Vinelet Church at the corner usually does a little bit more, but.
Yeah, I would agree. It did modify some behavior. Probably what was more effective is having a squad car parked there at the same time. And then some folks got pretty creative about how they got around it. But it's just a matter of changing behavior and however you want to go about doing that. And if we can put some infrastructure in place that's gonna make that safer. I think that's the way to go.
Well, and I saw that there was a smaller roundabout, and is that like the one by Cashwise, or is that bigger than that one?
Well, that's one kind of bigger solution we've discussed about right in front of Tiger Elementary is just a very small roundabout there, like a mini roundabout.
I hear a lot of complaints about the one in front of Cashwise because it's so small and people can't, and now you got a bunch of parents coming out, that's a lot more use, and is there even room there to do a larger roundabout as opposed to a small?
It would be pretty compact. I mean, it would be pretty tight, and so it's just something to look at further, like with engineering and stuff to consider. So we're just,
And like I said, there's a lot of great ideas in there, and I didn't have a problem with anything that was in there, anything we could do to mitigate student safety getting to school, or even the parents. I liked seeing the middle school where it had signs up, listen, pull forward, have your kids ready to get out of the vehicle instead of everybody getting out and giving hugs and doing all that, do it before you leave kind of thing. But when you see it, you go, okay, this is a plan, and we want to make sure we kind of follow the plan. And you're right, that entrance is a high priority. I can imagine, probably one of the highest, because there's a lot of things going on at that.
absolutely. I mean, part of the idea of this plan is just to kind of create 9 targets of projects we can apply for grant funding for, so.
No, thank you for answering that.
Sure.
It's in a plan and we're approving it, and I just want to make sure that we're saying, okay, these are ideas, they're not.
Exactly, yeah, no commitment, no spending commitment or anything like that. Right now, there's just ideas and things to kind of consider for the future.
No, I appreciate you did identify, the best part about this report is it identified a lot of the problems that people see every day, and having those in black and white makes a lot of difference to being able to solve those problems, and having the parent input's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, even, for cost, that sidewalk goes right into that, right? So.
Well, it helps when you're doing your CIP dollars, because you say, what's more important, traffic flow by a school or this over this statue in the park? And I know that sounds horrible to put it that way, but we have to be able to prioritize, especially with money and taxes and all that being tighter, we have to be able to prioritize a little bit tighter, and we're responsible for community safety and more important things sometimes than aesthetics.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of these fixes are pretty quick fixes. I mean, like you mentioned, the sign and stuff. I mean, just, when you consider that children's life, safety is at stake, and it's important little changes you can make.
So thank you.
Yeah.
I think the roundabouts are getting a little better because there's more people that are starting to understand the flow of it.
Not as many people come to a screeching halt.
So. Anything else for Blake?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
If I could too, I'll mention real quick, and keep in mind the project that's been approved and that's near completion is the school road corridor study, which is called out in this study also, and that will kind of complement again and guide what future project we might do. The last meeting was held just at our end of May workshop, and so we'll be wrapping that up here in July and should have some guidance also on roundabout placement, width of the road, sidewalks, etc. So we'll have some additional guidance that will kind of complement this also.
Well, I see a lot of communities, and they talked about where I don't know what it's called, like the jut out, where the sidewalk kind of juts out a little bit.
Bump out.
Yeah, bump out, there we go, terminology. But I've seen, you drive through other communities with those, and you really see how successful they are. And I drive for a living, so when we go up Main Street here, sometimes you don't see people because there's a mailbox or something, and you're hovering your brake going, okay, is there a pedestrian there? And at night they're wearing, black, and you can't see them. And those really indicate that it gets the person out a little bit further so you can see them and there's nothing in the way. So I really like that idea. And we talked last year about the buses leaving the middle school, and that can become real. And at that point, I think we talked about a school resource person or somebody out there to mitigate traffic so those buses could get out of there. And I see that was in the report too, so.
Yeah, And next step, Blake and Lynn will be presenting this to the school board, I think, at their next meeting. So the school board will also have a chance to review and approve. And then once both bodies have done so, the plan is to put it on our website to update the 2015 one. And then again, use it to guide any of our future planning efforts.
So, all right, entertain a motion.
I will move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Tim, second by Pat to approve. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Moving on, labor agreement with the police sergeants union.
Evening, Mayor and Council. Matt's not here tonight, so you get to see me.
Yeah.
In front of you tonight, you have both the clean copy and a red line version of the updated LELS contract with the sergeants. Not a lot of changes, but what is important to call out is that they have tentatively agreed for a 3-year contract with the city with wage reopeners both in 2027 and 2028. That's typical. That's what we've done in the past. In addition to the merit increases that would go into effect as part of the compensation plan, we have agreed to $1 more per hour for any employee that has qualified based on their performance score. That amount was agreed on between both the city and the sergeants based on market data to continue to kind of keep up with what is happening in law enforcement. A few other things that were cleaned up in there. We finalized or more permanently put some language in there that talks about assigning an additional stipend per month for the sergeants that are assigned, or the sergeant that's assigned to the investigative function. So that'll be permanent. That was something that had a sunset in there. Got rid of some older language that talked about a uniform allowance. Updated the language in there that talked about holiday pay, because Juneteenth has been formally added, and I think there was maybe some language that hadn't been fully cleaned up from the last time. And then we updated some vacation and sick leave or bereavement language. We were able to remove the language that was in there and basically just reference what's in the personnel policy handbook. So then should that policy change in the future, it would just be reflected and we wouldn't have to update the contract, and the sergeants were comfortable with that. So those were the major updates, so nothing too wild. So I would entertain or ask for approval tonight if you don't have any questions.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Pat, second by Chad to approve. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly. Setting preliminary canvassing board for August 14th, 2026.
Sure. So with the primary election on August 11th, we have to canvass those results for the council seats 1 and 2. State law says that has to be done on either August 13th or 14th, but the county auditor's canvassing board is August 14th, and we have to do it after them. Oh. And Gary is on that board, and I think it's Friday, August 14th at 9:30 a.m.
Correct.
When they're canvassing, so need it sometime after 10:30 or 11 on the 14th.
Could we do it at 11? Would that be fine?
Doesn't normally take that long, right, Gary? Half hour?
No, not, it don't, now, the way they run it, yeah, it's usually an hour, if that. 11 would be fine. That works for everyone?
Here.
Yes.
I'd make that a motion.
Second.
Motion by Chad, second by Pat, to set the canvassing board for 11 o'clock on August 14th, 2026. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Resetting August 11th, 2026 City Council meeting.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Following the theme of election, so August 11th is the date of the primary election, and State law says that we can't have a public meeting between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. so people have a chance to vote. So in the past, we've changed the meeting time for the city council meeting to be 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We don't have to do that, but that's traditionally what we've done. So you can set it for 4 o'clock on August 7th if you want, or pick a different date and time. That'd be up to you.
Motion to set the meeting at August 11th at 4 o'clock.
Second.
Motion by Pat, second by Chad to set August 11th, 2026 City Council meeting for 4 p.m. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All say nay. Motion carries. Minutes, reports from committees, boards, or commissions. We have the City of Hutchinson Financial Report and Investment Reports for May of 2026. The Hutchinson Housing Redevelopment Authority Board minutes from May 19th, 2026. Planning Commission minutes from May 19th of 2026. Chief Gifferson, you got anything for us tonight? Alrighty. Chief Schulman, I heard that heard the platform chassis came in, or?
So the fire truck, the chassis portion is done. Some of our committees going on to look at that on Friday and confirm that it matches the prints, and then it goes down to South Dakota for the actual ladder function or assembly. So, and then it comes back to Minnesota. So we're in phase one.
Phase one.
Phase three, 3 phases.
Alrighty, sounds good. Lynn, you got anything else for us?
Nothing this evening.
Mike, you got anything?
Give a quick update.
Yes, please.
Just because they're moving along nicely. Edmonton is scheduled for final paving on Thursday, and if that goes off as planned, that should open late Thursday or Friday. The signs will be pulled back, but generally it'll be open and available. The plan would be then to stripe it the following week, but under traffic conditions. So for all intents and purposes, it could and should be open by this weekend. The area again south of Century, they're continuing to make progress there. There'll be another round of utility shutoffs over the next few days, but by next Friday, if all goes well, the utility shutoff should be complete, and then they will just continue to work to finish up that project before jumping to the north side, as well as Larson and Boulder Circle down by Roberts and the high school. But continue to make good progress. The weather's cooperated. I do want to mention to our solar projects, we've gotten our first round of state reimbursements, which has been great. So that project looks to be on track, and we've got a few that we'll be filing extensions for just because the state fiscal year ends June 30. We've got a few to wrap up, but again, 11 projects that are up and generating. So making good progress there too.
Mike, have you had any experience, any of the sewer linings going on yet with the new technology?
No, we've not had a pre-con yet, and timeline, we gave them until the end of the year because generally they can do it under any conditions. We're anticipating probably late fall, but we've not heard yet as to when that'd kick off. But we'd anticipate a pre-con sometime before it, but we've not heard anything to it.
Perfect, thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Mike. Kelly, you got anything else for us? Mark, you got anything for us?
The only thing I would mention is just a reminder that city offices will be closed on Friday, July 3rd, in observance of the July 4th holiday. Other than that, nothing.
All right, thank you. Chad, let's start with you tonight.
I didn't have anything extra.
Timmy.
A lot of things going on at the library, kind of the planting the seed theme. They'll have the stories in the park Thursdays at 10 a.m. in Library Square. That's June 11th through the August 13th. They've got all kinds of special performances going on. Climb Theater, DNR Naturalist is coming in. A lot of things going on this summer, so get down to the library, especially with youth. Keep them reading through the summer. Thank you.
Dave?
Well, yeah, I guess.
You gotta move up a little bit. You can't hide behind Pat.
Like your headlights?
Yeah.
Our TTC meeting, this Zoom meeting today with the MMDC, And, it went rather well. There's, new things coming out, and there's a lot of things that probably aren't happening because of funding, so, that's the unfortunate part, is trying to keep up with, a commission like that lives on the funding that comes to us. And so we're getting a little feel for it, even as a subcommittee, we're getting a little feel of what we can do to help generate less expenses, through our meetings and whatnot. And, so that's going on, and, but otherwise, the volunteer driver program seemed to be working almost all over the whole region, 4 counties, and, Fairfax was involved in a situation where they were looking for rides to go to grocery stores, go to Walmart, go to wherever they might want to go. And that's still in the planning stages, but looks like they're making progress. They have people that are really interested in it and people that are pushing it. So it'll be interesting to see what they come up with in their plans to do that. Otherwise, around the state and the territory, why things are going pretty well.
So you rattle those letters off so fast that it's all to do with transportation, correct?
Yes, it is all transportation, yes.
Throughout this,
And
our region, right?
subcommittee to keep things rolling and find things and plan things and that type of stuff. So we have a director that takes care of the transportation pretty well, and we got the lady that sits on the commission that has been on transportation and elderly mobility for, I've been on there for 7 years, and I think she's been on there advocating for that. Sits on the state board for that, so she's pretty well versed on a lot of things when it comes to that. Transportation's a tough thing for a lot of people yet in this country. When you think as mobile as we are, we're not as mobile as probably we should be, so it gets to be a hassle trying to accommodate those that need to go at certain times and be at certain places that they can't get there themselves. So I know Tim works for ACC, and they do a tremendous job throughout the community, and probably more than the Hutchinson area. But yeah, it takes people like that to make that happen. And then it depends on what Medicare and Medicaid come up with as far as their plans and their funding and that type of stuff. So it's always something there's always a conversation about something, but we always have to rely on someone above our commission area in the state and whatnot to make those decisions for us. And so like I say, getting the funding to do a lot of things has been a little bit on the slack side this year so far. I think there's some stuff starting to loosen up, but we don't know that for sure yet. So yeah, I mean, it's sad that a commission that does so much in our 4-county area has to virtually lay off 2 planners that do great work working with businesses that want to start and refinancing those that maybe are hurting a little bit, but they need some help to get through an area. And that's really sad that we have to do that, but unfortunately it's a fact of life in this economy. So hopefully we get back to full strength in the next biennium.
Yeah. So. All right, thanks. Pat?
I had a bike and pedestrian meeting last week. The last thing that they've done was they do the bike and walk to school, and this year I think we had about 105 participants. And it kind of ties in with what Blake was doing with his, try to get kids, kind of surprising that there's not more kids actually biking and walking to school, but maybe it does have something to do with safety routes and parent concerns. So, but anyways, a good meeting. There's a bike fleet that the school has, and it's actually all schools in McLeod County and Litchfield. They can get these bikes for their FIAD program. There's a trailer, it's full, it's been funded through grants. There's 40 regular bicycles, and then I believe there's 5 or 6, you know, Chad, of the assisted bikes for handicapped.
50 regular bikes.
Thanks, Lynn.
And then 5 adapted bikes.
Like I said, 50 regular, I may have said 40, but at any rate, it's a nice community to be on, and they're looking always for even people for donations, simply because it's a lot of upkeep on the bikes, but it provides a lot of schools a chance for kids to get some to learn how to ride bike and to get them into more healthy ways to carry out their exercise instead of the laptops or the whatever they happen to have, so. And that's all I have.
All right. Mike, had this come through, the river fountain. Can you kind of tell it? Cause we're sitting down there lining up for the parade, and of course, about 20 people come by me and say, how come there's no water coming out of
Yeah,
there?
Matt had asked Donovan again today for an update. Electrician is to be out this week. We had muskrats that had chewed into the line and created a short, which we thought we had repaired 2 weeks ago, and it still didn't operate. It shorted again. So at this point, the electrician will be out this week to determine if it's the motor that is creating the short or if it's the line, and that needs to be replaced. So it has been one thing after the other with it, but critter seems to have been the most detrimental part of it. So, but we're hoping to have more information here. I think Thursday they're scheduled to come out.
All right,
So
thanks.
maybe operational this summer. It's been disappointing, so.
All right, thanks, Mike. You know, I always have people adopt a fire hydrant in the winter time to clear the snow away and stuff. Now I'd like to have them adopt a storm drain, because looking around, notice that there's quite a bit of debris across the grates. I know the guys will go out and sweep, Mike, but you know, if you could adopt a storm drain for me, that'd be great to get those cleaned out. So, but that's all I have. Let's go home.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Pat, second by Chad to adjourn. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries.